Today we're bringing back our written article reviews in completely ad-free format, and it's with the engineering help and wizardry of Wendell from Level1Techs.
Some certain janitorial things were needed at Gamers Nexus.
In 2008, working from this 10x10 childhood bedroom, I originally launched this website. But now, it looks like this, and it's really easy to find things, and fast. Thanks, Wendell.
Thanks, Steve.
The website from 2008 until today has had a few makeovers, but not much changed, and it was extremely slow and extremely cumbersome to use in the back end, and it broke a lot. The new website loads stupid fast, and it makes it really easy to see our reviews in full depth along with the videos. We have image comparison tools for in-depth graphic settings analysis pieces. We have detailed photo guides for cooler installation and seeing every angle of the products, not just in video. We have tons of charts. And for those of you who just want to read or just want long-term references that are way easier to find and search for after the video goes live, this has what you want. Each review is also only one single page. But there's one thing we don't have. An onslaught of ads rendering the page completely unreadable and links to doctors being speechless because
you won't believe. You won't believe? Won't believe? That doesn't mean anything. Why would 80,000 people shared it on Facebook?
Although, we do kind of want to learn about the boomer skills. But look how fast and clean these pages are without those ads. Because our YouTube channel, affiliate store, and Patreon revenue support us enough already. We could put 3 ad spots there and probably no one would complain, not in a meaningful way. But the extra money, it's not worth compromising our goal, which is creating the best user experience possible. We can at least start with minimizing the JavaScript and the toe fungus ads that appear on the side of the screen. Thanks, Taboola. The website is meant in part to be community service, and that's the main reason to relaunch it, because cataloging things in written format on the internet has gotten really, really bad as video has killed everything, and we've been a part of that. We abandoned our own written content because video was the only sustainable business model. But the consequence of everybody doing that is that there are a lot fewer tech websites around with information that you can just quickly read and get your answer. There's one other personal reason I wanted to relaunch the website though. I debated whether or not I should bother sharing this, but for major milestones like this, maybe twice over the years, I've been a little more open on this side. So for years, it's bothered me that we stopped publishing on the website specifically because that's the last part of the business that my dad really had a lot of exposure to, where I got to show him that part of it, and he would send me texts, shorthand, of course, just like, read the article, wow, you are awesome. So I lost him in 2015 and had to make things work pretty fast to support myself, what I was trying to do, and try to help support the family when my mom was cleaning toilets, which was not enough to afford the mortgage and some of the other medical costs. But we had about 1 to 2 years of runway to get things in order before the reserves would run out. And that was when I took the clearest path possible, which was investing completely in video and going forward as hard as possible with YouTube. Now, during that time, I maintained the website for a while, but eventually didn't have the time to do both. And YouTube was the only thing that was working realistically. So I cleared out an extra room in my mom's old house, built the first real set in it, and put us on the path to where we are today. But now we've regained stability and people know who we are, so it's time to go back for the website. And one of the comments my dad made a long time ago was, how much money do you make from the website banner ads? And that particular year, I made $180 for the entire year. To which he responded, you need a product. Every business needs a product. So we got rid of the website banner ads, and we have a product now, a couple of them. And we can make the new site ad-free because of support from all of you on the GN store. Our brand new GN15 metal emblem pint glass was months in the making to celebrate our 15th year in business and this website relaunch. A ton of you have already bought the new glass and it's moving super fast, so thank you for the support. We're also selling them in combo packs with our coasters, and you might also be interested in our highly functional products like the massive and heavy-duty soldering and project mat. These have extreme heat resistance and they're convenient tool holders, spool docks, and large work areas for screw tracking. And even though it's comparatively large and ultra thick as compared against other common soldering mats on the market, we're selling the solder and project mat for $50. Head over to store.gamersnexus.net to support our website relaunch and commitment to 0 third-party ads on the site. The quick overview: if you take nothing else away from the video, here are the 5 points we'd like you to take away from it. The first one is that the website is crazy fast because Wendell is a wizard.
Oh, it's kind of dark. There you go.
Cool. Well,
My chariot arrived.
but seriously, if you click around the website a bit, you'll notice that the pages really do load fast, and there's a lot of engineering under that, which Wendell will explain a little bit later in the video. Look at the speed, though. These aren't lightweight text-only articles either. We're really going heavy on the assets and the images to try and provide value. It's just optimized. For example, this Deep Cool Assassin 4 article has photos for the step-by-step installation instructions, and our Dan case article has photos from every angle of the case, both built and unbuilt. Remaining video first means we have a ton of cool visual assets. So we're using those on the site, coupled with Wendell's crazy loading speed, to try and combine the best of written and of visual formats. The second one is we have a single big page of test benches that will be automatically updated every time we add new hardware to our test platform rotation. The third one is we have a really cool image quality comparison format for articles. These specific pages do load JavaScript, but it's for the ability to zoom and compare images, do side-by-sides, access different image layers in the bottom, and build your own image quality comparison so you have control over it. This is awesome for comparing graphic settings and features, and we're doing more of that. It embeds some vendor-agnostic code that NVIDIA wrote and publicly distributed via iCAD. Wendell took that code, adapted it, cleaned it up, and wrote some custom code for the site to interpret the output of the tool, and the result is better comparison of graphic settings. The next major specific feature of the website is that it makes looking back at reviews more convenient long term, and we have infinite page length, so instead of a 16:9 video format, we can make mega charts when we retire a bench to show dozens of results. It also means sometimes the articles might have some extra information that got cut from the video for time. Finally, the website has really cool article layout tools that are allowing us to build fancy article formats for special features, investigative reports like our artesian builds coverage, and our factory tours. We haven't fully deployed these yet, but we're working on it, and it'll make the article reading experience a lot more engaging and informative for those pieces that are heavy with evidence or visuals. Let's talk about the plans and the objectives for the website. So first of all, this website is function first, and being function first, Wendell and I have been on the same page the entire time, which is let's just get something sustainable live, something that my team, we can update on our own, we can keep up with it, and it's not horribly complex or this big band-aided together mess like the old one was where no one else knows how to use it. So we want to be able to deploy the reviews as articles and get them to people as effectively as we can. So you get the charts, you get the images, you get the text, and then anything else from that is extra. And even though written reviews, they never went away, there's plenty of good websites still out there, but it has gotten into a much more restricted space. There's not nearly as many of them, which is very unfortunate. So it's not like we're bringing them back. It's, again, we're bringing ours back. So over the next few months, the big features we want to roll out, as in big for us, for our site, will include a table of contents, which sounds simple, but we'll talk about that. A single collection of all of our testing methodologies consolidated in one place. We already publish most of the methodology. It's just scattered everywhere on YouTube, and this will make it easier. We'll also have an errors and corrections page with error rates, so that'll be cool. And then we have a full feature page layout we're working on for, we'll call it evergreen content, is YouTube's kind of keyword they use. So we're also hoping to publish our end-of-year buyer's guides and best of roundups that kind of recap the entire year on the website soon. Table of contents first. So this is simple as a concept, but the reason we kind of have to do it is because we're sticking to a single page layout. That's something that I really wanted to do. We're excited about it, and maintaining that single page format has a lot of upsides. Mainly, it's user focused. As a user, it's really frustrating to hit an article and to get the one chart you care about, you have to click through 37 pages to find it, or spend a bunch of time trying to navigate it, and then you're scrolling past 17 ads, bunch of autoplay videos, and all this other stuff that crashes your browser on your way to find one damn chart. Really frustrating. So single page gets by that, and it just reduces time waste and is better for the user. There are two key downsides to doing single page. So the first is already solved, fortunately. The first downside is assets. The more images you have on the page, the more stuff that's on the page that needs to load, the slower it's going to be to load. And this has been resolved because the page load time is already really good. The second downside is this one. You can lose your place on the page if you read a piece over a couple days. Point number 2 is the testing methodologies consolidation. So another major use for the website. Ever since we kind of abandoned the original site and went fully to video, because I couldn't keep up with it, the methodological notes ended up scattered across multiple videos all over the YouTube channel. And it's just not a good way to, it's not user-friendly. This got especially complex with the sound chamber, where to have the sort of full picture of how we use it, you would need to watch the chamber build vlog, and then you would need to know to watch the following news episode. Then you'd need to know to watch the Terra review just to learn what we're doing. And now from a video perspective, all this made sense. We didn't want to jam it all into one review for the Terra and distract from what people actually clicked for and then get penalized algorithmically because of abandonment. But we also weren't ready to produce a full standalone video like we've done for coolers and other things because the methods at that time weren't 100% defined. They would, however, be defined enough to put in at least an introductory article that we could run initially and then kind of run another one when it's fully defined. So that helps to resolve some of that. So basically, although we already published methodology pieces like our CPU cooler test methods from the 2020 video, and that's still valid today, by the way, made some improvements, but most of it's the same, and our huge GPU test methodology video also from 2020, we want to get them to where they're better surfaced. It's really not evergreen from YouTube's perspective, a global platform that's not just computer hardware. So the way that would behave on YouTube is it does well initially. It's kind of hard to find it later, and you would have to know to look for it. Now, if you know what to search for, you can get it, yes. But if you don't know it even exists, that's the problem. And YouTube is extremely good at discovery, and it's how we've gotten a lot of our views is just from being surfaced on the recommended or sidebar. But there's certain types of content that it doesn't really surface for people. So the website helps with a lot of that, and our plan is to use the top nav on the site to make methodological posts more visible since they get buried on YouTube. Full features pages is the next one. So our current test subject is the artesian builds article. This one's been a lot of fun to work on. Jeremy on the team has put in a massive amount of effort converting this into an article, so please show your appreciation for him in the comments because converting it from the original investigative report into written format, it was a bit of a challenge. There's a lot to go through. These full feature pages we view as really critical for the website, and that comes back to, I guess, topic kind of for another time, but YouTube is particularly challenging as a platform to get factory tours, documentaries, things that are educational especially to really perform well. It's easy for us to get an Alienware PC review to do like hundreds of thousands of views, but the documentary like the EVGA finale, those can take 2 months for us to put together. They often involve travel. They're much harder to get distribution on. And that's just because if you look at it from how YouTube works standpoint, purely objectively, if you're not relying on really heavy clickbait or just things that are obnoxious for the viewer, for the person navigating the website, then there's limited inherent marketing potential behind a topic like the AMD lab tour, the full documentary we did, because you kind of lose that sudden punch, that sudden impact you get with something that's really news heavy, something like a 5090 launching. There's a lot of inherent reach with that topic because a lot of people cover it at the same time. YouTube looks at this giant spread of content from YouTubers and goes, oh, people care about this, this is important, push it all up and feed it to everyone who watches this kind of content. You don't have that with these sort of standalone special pieces. And with the right mix of things, yeah, they can be made to be successful, but it's so much more difficult. So the website will help elevate that content, make it easier to discover, and we think it'll help, support the views too, frankly, but I'm excited about just seeing it in text format. Related to this, the homepage has a special view we're working on for showing video format versions of our top selected factory tours or documentaries we think are really worth paying attention to. This is the section of the website you should check when you want something in depth and different to watch that's not a normal product review or benchmark or part of our kind of regular YouTube upload cadence. Okay, now we're going to cut over to a conversation with Wendell from Level1Techs to talk about some of the technology of the website.
I'm Wendell. Some certain janitorial things were needed at Gamers Nexus, and so I was like, yes, excellent, janitor time. It's web janitoring, though.
Yeah.
It turns out that media on the web is not dead, and you're going to show them how it's done, which I'm on board for, at least in my
I
my.
don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I hope we can provide good value to people. I think a lot of people will like it. So, on the technical side, for anyone who cares or is into web development, the site, I originally built it on Joomla. Yeah. I would love it if you could help give some context to people of purely on the technology, like platform side. What type of change is this? And
Joomla has its place in history, but it's a
that's a
little
good
bit of a
start.
relic
Yeah.
at this point architecturally. I mean, um, we've done something a little bit unholy. Where the new thing is Drupal, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, you can't get there from here. So I wrote a migration because Drupal actually has a lot of really good migration tools and is fairly sane under the hood when it comes to how it structures entities and how it stores content and everything else. And so it wasn't a huge deal to port all of your Joomla content into Drupal, but like from a content editing standpoint, like that experience or like replicating I'm just got one giant editor, like I'm going to open a word processor and then I'm just going to start adding stuff in. Modern web really shouldn't be built that way. Actually, even architecturally, like Drupal, like if you laser focus on just like the Drupal engine, it is kind of dated architecturally, but it is exactly the right thing for like large scale enterprise websites. It's probably not a perfect fit architecturally for Gamers Nexus, but because it's open source, we can adapt it and sort of use it in interesting ways. I think that WordPress's Gutenberg content editor is more along the lines of what a modern web editing experience should be. And so we've done the unholy thing of taking the Gutenberg editor and which is meant for WordPress, but I'm not a fan of WordPress for these kinds of projects. And so we've taken the Gutenberg editing experience and we've bolted that on top of Drupal, which is just as unholy and insane as it sounds. But there is a Gutenberg project that is very well supported, pretty well supported on Drupal.org, and it really does make sense. But at the end of the day, the idea is to make it as easy as possible for content editors to paste a lot of stuff. And that's what we did. And just to give the viewers an idea of the level of madness here, you're taking screenshots and you paste it in. You don't even bother naming a file. You just paste in the screenshot and the system takes care of taking the file, naming it, sticking it somewhere logical, and making it show up in the article. But yeah, I just sort of see this as like minimum community plumbing, really, to give you the platform to do whatever. Ironically or not ironically, for the work that I've done commercially, the ones that have won the most awards and turned the most heads are the ones that have used Drupal for the content management system because it also handles multi-language really well, exceptionally well.
Okay.
But then using a headless front end. So it's like counting on Drupal to render pages is too slow. So you put something else in front of Drupal that takes care of caching or rendering or whatever. Yeah, we've put a lot of work into trying to have the editor pull out as much stuff as possible in order to make the pages as fast as possible. So like one of the really amazing things that Drupal has built in is image manipulation. It used to be called image cache, but now it's just like the image media stuff. And so when you paste in an 8 megabyte PNG, unless you go out of your way, Drupal will try to say, let's just store that in the library of images instead of for the web. Let's just quietly turn that into a JPEG and make that like 300 kilobytes. It depends on what it is. Sometimes that's acceptable, sometimes not. But the editor will help you convert things to web-friendly image formats and compress the pages. And there's some engineering under the hood to one of those layers that sort of sits between Drupal and the internet is taking everything and compressing it and caching it and trying to return it as much as possible. And then there's Cloudflare on top of that. So like there's this whole chain of like caching policies where like when you edit a page, there's a thing that kicks off that actually notifies the caching thing and Cloudflare. Hey, this page was edited. Delete it. And so it'll delete it from the cache, then it'll refetch it and then pull it back. And so that it creates the illusion of speed because everything is caching at the nth degree all the way up the chain. So hopefully that'll hold up.
Right.
Because one of the engineering goals for this is also for ourselves. So like I'm planning on relaunching Level 1 website, and we're going to have content and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of the stuff that we have for you is stuff that we've built for ourselves. We just haven't rolled out yet. And the engineering part of this is that it's going to evolve over time. If you look at a lot of the existing tech websites, it looks like they were lovingly handcrafted. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into it many years ago, and then they've just used that from now until the end of time. But this is built in such a way that it should be able to evolve, and it should be able to evolve without accumulating too much cruft.
So you're planning to bring written to level 1, hopefully, I guess?
Yeah, a little bit more, I think, especially around the how-tos and some of the industry movement stuff.
You mentioned the KVM, so for anyone who's interested in that, store.level1techs.com, and otherwise check out the channel as well, which we'll link below. So Level1Techs.
None of that's necessary. They know where I'm at. They already know.
Thanks, Wendell, for all the work on the site and
Thank you.
the help with the launch. Next section's really short. It's about how we're handling article entry for older stuff. As we enter old content and upfit the website, we are backdating things. So if we go and post the i9-14900K review on the site, it's going to be backdated for the date it originally aired on YouTube. And that's just because the content itself is a reflection of what was originally published. So it's making it clear for everyone, like, hey, this isn't a new review. It's not new information. This is what we originally ran. Here's the original date. Just kind of reference material, or for people who would have preferred to read it originally. The number one thing that we want to make sure you all know is that the goal with entering older content is to preserve the integrity of the piece as it was originally presented, hosted, filmed. So that means as we go back and edit reviews that are a week, a month, a year old and get them onto the website, they will not be updated for our modern thoughts on it. They're not going to be updated for modern pricing and availability. We are preserving them as they were originally presented as a time capsule of the time in which they were published. So if we grab the 3080 review, we're not going to update it and say, but you should also consider the 4080 because it didn't exist at that time. And we're not using a time machine to rewrite them. We're preserving them as they were. If we want to do a revisit though, we already do those. The 7900 XT is a good example. That's how it's going to work on the website too. So we're just letting you know the kind of difference between we publish something on the site that is a newly published article, but is old content. That's how we're drawing that distinction. One more example, we run a piece on City Skylines 2 benchmarks, and 1 week later, as part of the publishing cadence, we run that same piece on the website. Let's say there's a patch in between. The video goes up Monday, patch goes out Friday, article goes up Saturday. We're not going to update the article to have new numbers, new considerations. It's a reflection, a mirror of the original content piece. As part of keeping this sustainable so that our small team can handle it, but also just frankly making sure the videos get the views they deserve, since that's driving the revenue for the site, since it's ad-free, we will be publishing the content on the site on about a 1 week delay from when the video goes up. And additionally, because other people on the team might be the ones entering the article, even though someone else worked on the video script, that means there might be some slight differences in the precise way that I might have hosted something versus the way it's written out. You might just see some differences in word choice there. One thing we are doing is adding to some conclusions or adding some additional content that didn't fit in the video. That's because in video format, we found that people tend to want more commentary in the conclusion. In written format, we've historically found that more passerby readers want firmer recommendations on what to buy at the end of a game benchmark, whereas video viewers tend to jump to a chart and just make their decision on their own on that chart. We provide both angles in the video, but if you check our Baldur's Gate 3 conclusion in the article, we're trying to consolidate a lot of those mid-video ad-libbed thoughts into one organized conclusion. So we're continuing to add backdated articles almost daily right now. Check back regularly for them. We're really excited about this. I know, like I said at the beginning, but even though this, websites haven't gone away, there's still written publications out there. They have definitely dwindled. It's just, for us, it's really cool, even though I guess it's not new, but it's exciting for me because this is where I started. And I'm thrilled to be back to it and have a site that was built by an actual professional instead of me, like in 2008. One more thing, we have thousands of articles on the website that are from the old site generation And those have been preserved. They're still searchable through Google if you know what you're looking for. And the old links will still work if you land on one in a YouTube video. But we are going to be pulling those forward and updating them so they won't populate on the main page of the new site until we get through that process. But rest assured, they're still there. Anyway, you'll see more content added regularly. It's going to be either backdated or newer stuff. So City Skylines 2 just got converted for the website going live. That's new content, and that's on our closer to current publishing cadence. So yeah, check the site. You can go over to store.gamersnexus.net if you want to support it. Patreon.com/gamersnexus. We're keeping the website ad-free. I have absolutely no intention of adding ads to the site. So I'm not going to do third-party direct banner sales or anything like that. I'm pretty confident it's sustainable with the community support, plus the sort of long-standing affiliate revenue, plus the YouTube revenue. Like we don't need all of the ad revenue everywhere. Like that's enough. We can sustain it with that and have it just be a way better user experience. So thanks for watching. Go check it out. We're thrilled to hear what you think. As I said, this was function first, but Wendell and I have already been talking about improvements. If you have ideas, let us know what you'd like to see. We're trying to keep it really low on the feature bloat, though. I don't want a ton of JavaScript to slow down the site. So, but let us know what your ideas are, and as we work through them, maybe we'll implement it. So thanks for watching. See you all next time.